What made millennials the undisputedly greatest generation that will ultimately save this planet and humanity itself, if there's any hope for it at all? Well, it starts with the children's programming that raised us, and specifically, Ghostwriter. Worrrd. Ghostwriter was essentially a preteen procedural produced by PBS, RIP, and the BBC. No, not that one, the British one. About a crackerjack team of adolescent sleuths in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, before it was bougie, solving legitimate inner-city crimes with the help of a literary poltergeist they called Ghostwriter. It was basically Law and Order for kids, but the only weapons they had were literacy and gumption. They actually got themselves into some very dangerous situations. This was peak age of kids, go outside, here's a quarter for the payphone, be back for dinner. It's a miracle any of us are alive, but I would argue that the internet this day and age is far more dangerous than anything we encountered in back alleys. The Ghostwriter team was my personal preteen friend goals, and I'm sorry to say I did not achieve. Level-headed Jamal was the first one Ghostwriter revealed itself to, and his iconic Grandma Cece Jenkins letter carrier is the reason that every time I pass by a mailbox, I do this. Streetwise Lenny, who wore a few too many African prints for my liking, lived in a loft with her jazz musician father above a bodega owned by the Fernandez family. Aspiring detective and my personal romantic white whale Alex, and his brainy kid sister Gabby, who was mysteriously recast in the last season for whatever reason. Junior filmmaker and first-generation Vietnamese-American Tina, who better get her hands off my man. Brooding, clearly neurodivergent military brat Rob. Plus, Alex's mentee Hector, Jamal's cousin Casey, a young Julia Stiles as a hacker, a young Samuel L. Jackson as Jamal's dad, cameos by real-life Salt, Peppa, and Cece Peniston. This show had it all. Now, what or who was Ghostwriter? Functionally, he was a he/him, we'll get to that in a bit, was basically texting meets a beta version of ChatGPT visible only to the Ghostwriter team. Yeah, who was Ghostwriter? Well, according to showrunner Kermit Frazier, which I assume is a pseudonym, Ghostwriter is an ancestor of Jamal's, who was a runaway slave who taught other slaves how to read and write and was later mauled to death by the dogs of slave hunters. So, anyway, whatever happened to Ghostwriter, I think it's pretty clear. He went corporate and became Spotify.
Ghostwriter, what a trip.